mm, okay, so I hope my screen should be visible. Okay, so now what we'll do is we'll try to see like how Bubsut tools can help us. Okay, so what I will do is let me just close this out, close this wires out. Okay, and okay, and I will tap upon this packet. Let me go to HTTP. This website, the one that we were kind of has been visiting from a long time, an HTTP URL. And now if you see, if you go ahead and kind of let's stop the packet, and if you go ahead and type HTTP, so you get, so kind of you get that, okay, there has been kind of a request from my Remnex host toward the destination server, and there has been kind of get request that has been kind of sent out. Now if you see, like if I make multiple requests, it's actually really hard to kind of read the get headers that were kind of sent out by my client towards the web server that is kind of allocated to cs.scsu.edu. Okay, so if you see that it has multiple headers over here, and we will kind of looking at few of these headers, like what those things means. The reason for that is that it will be really useful when we will be kind of let's say as a SOC professional, we had to kind of most of the time deal with the HTTP request or HTTPS request going out from a website, to understand like if there to understand like it will be really helpful in few of the scenarios, like let's say malware infection, like what are the requests that is going out from the malware towards its own C2 web server, and what are the response that that malware is kind of getting. Okay, so that's the reason why it is very very necessary to kind of look at the headers of the get and post request. So we'll look at that. So in the Wireshark, it's a little bit difficult to kind of, because if let's suppose this packet that you are seeing right now, let's suppose this was splitted into two packets. Okay, so thing is that in that case we need to kind of rejoin all those packets and read the get headers in kind of in one form. But that thing will be solved in the Bubsut tool. So if in the WhatsApp, what we do is that we click on HTTP, follow HTTP stream, we do like this, and then we kind of get all the kind of details that were sent out from my host to the web server. Okay, so we need to do a lot of stuff over here. Okay, but in the Bubsut tool, it's kind of just kind of a cakewalk. Okay, so how we can do that is that if we go to the target, okay, if we go to the target, and in the target, if the Bubsut tool, if you have kind of updated the tool, the thing is that if you go to target, there will be a section which says open browser. Okay, so if you click on the open browser, so I'm going to do that. So what it will do is that it will open a new browser, which will be a Chromium browser. The name of the browser will be Chromium, and it will be having all the settings pre-installed. You don't need to kind of do any kind of installation on the browser. So everything will be pre-installed in that browser by the Bubsut, and the Bubsut will be able to kind of tap upon the traffic that is going back and forth between the web browser and the web server. Okay, so I think it will take some time to open the browser. So let me just give it some time. Okay, so it's starting up now. Okay, so I think it's have started now. So let me just go to let me just start one browser. Mm, Go back to this. Okay, and what we'll do is let's first kind of visit a website for an example. Okay, so let me just click on this and let's see if the traffic is kind of tabbed on the browser itself. So just go to Swigger. So this is actually the company of the Bobsuit, which is the name of the company is Port Swigger. So let me just bring that up. So in the meantime, this tool is getting warmed up. What we'll do is that let's go to our syllabus and let's see if we have certain figures that we can kind of understand from there itself. Okay. Okay. So one of the things that in the meantime, let kind of this Chromium browser get warmed up and let it kind of build the website. In the meantime, what we will do is we'll look at like how the get header and post header looks like. Okay. So these are some of the kind of snapshot of the malware of the communication that was happening from the malware that was running on one of the hosts and just trying to kind of reach out to its C2 server. Okay. So if you see, like this is one of the snapshot of the get header. So here what is happening is that there was a malware running on a system. The name of the malware was TCHAS malware. And what it was doing is that it was reaching out to its own C2 server. And if you see the URL of that C2 server was kawasaki.unhamz.com. Okay. And what it was doing is in this website, it was trying to reach out to this specific URI. If you see, it is a kind of a random URI.stm. Okay. And with some cookie headers. And the same thing is happening over here for the latest malware that you guys might have already heard about, the NotPetya malware. So in the same case, the thing is that the malware was trying to reach out to its own C2 server, and the host of that URL of that C2 server was upd.me.doc.com.ua. Okay, and it was trying to reach out to that URL with a specific URI, which was /last.ver with some random keyword like RND equal to some random ID. Okay, so this is basically how the get header will look like when let's suppose you are reaching out, you are dealing with a scenario where the system has been kind of infected with the malware. Okay, and thing is that let's say the malware is trying to communicate with its own C2 server. So if you tap on the PCAP file or you tap upon the Bobsuit tool and you kind of tap on the get headers that has been kind of sent out by the malware to its web server. These are the kind of headers that you will kind of normally see. So the reason what we are going to do is now we will be kind of going to understand like what these headers are all about, like cookie, what do you mean by accept, what do you mean by host, and a little bit more headers that we will kind of encounter when we're kind of dealing with any kind of this kind of scenarios. Okay, so let's say for an example, this one, you see there are a lot of like headers over here, like accept, cookies, use agent, then connection, then cache control. So we'll try to understand now what all these terms mean. Okay, so let's quickly dive upon and get those details for us. Okay, so let me just see if this has taken into action. I don't think it is still working. Let me just go proxy and proxy settings. And it is looping back on the thing. So it is looping back. It is reading on the local host over port 8080. Okay, the reason why this website was not